Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new chapter of Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another chapter, thank you so much for giving me a listen. And if you love the show, drop me a review over on your favorite podcast app. Or you can become a patron over at patreon.com/oldmanbrad. So we're in our second week of October. If you can believe it, we've already blown through a week. We're in our second week. There are so many horror movies that have dropped thus far this month. The list is massive. It would probably take me 5 minutes to go through them all. But this week I have a new one that is part of Hulu's Huluween. It's a Huluween original movie, and that is Mr. Crocket. It's based off of the 2022 short film, which was part of Huluween, what they call it, the bite-size Huluween back in 2022. Comes out October 11th. I'm going to be giving my spoiler-free, or as spoiler-free as I can, thoughts on the movie. But before we dive into it, I want to say if you're in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays. On the third Friday of every month, I host a horror screening, and our screening for October, on October 18th, is Trick or Treat. I am so excited to host this one and see it on the big screen. I've never seen it on the big screen before. But come out to the Esquire, October 18th, 10 p.m., and let's watch a movie together. All right, it is time to move into all things Mr. Crocket.
Son, check this out. I got something for you.
Welcome to Mr. Crocket's world!
A friend like you is a friend like me.
Whenever you're in trouble.
He's coming! He must be watching us. He's killing parents and taking more kids.
Go on, my child. This is my house now.
Take deep breaths.
In 1993, a mysterious children's show host, Mr. Crocket, magically emerges from television sets to kidnap young children, brutally slaying their parents in the process. After Mr. Crocket snatches her son, one determined mother embarks on a perilous quest to track down the demonic entertainer and rescue her boy. This is written and directed by Brian Espy. It stars Jerrica Hinton, Elvis Nolasco, Aidan Gavin, Crystalline Lloyd, Alex Okpopom, and many others. Like I said, this comes to Hulu on October 11th, based on the short film of the same name that came out as part of bite-sized Huluween in 2022. I'm going to just say I had an absolute blast with this movie. This movie was so much fun. A little different than I expected it to go. It's very much like a mix. Let's just say if you put Pennywise as the host of Pee-wee's Playhouse and sprinkled in just a little Candyman and a little Freddy Krueger in there, it was just fun. You know, it gets a little predictable towards the end where you can kind of figure out what's going to happen. But I had a blast. Like, the cold open of this was creepy. There's a scene where this VCR tape, and the mom wants him to turn it off, and there's a scene of the tape, the VCR flap opening up, and you see Mr. Crocket's eyes before he comes out. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, why hasn't something like this come out? This movie really made you feel like it was something from like Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, Creepshow, one of those shows like that. Like it was this long feature-length episode from something like that, where you had Mr. Crocket, who there's this song, a Friend Like Me song.
A friend like you is a friend like me. A friend like us is a friend like we.
You will get stuck in your head as you go along. Like by the end, you're going to be like, if you got a friend in me, and anyway, it will get stuck in your head. And these kids get really addicted to this show. Like, they find this tape. This tape gets played, and these kids are hooked on it. And then parents, whether it starts off with a parent who gets mad at their kid for not eating their food. So Mr. Crocket, basically, part of his song is he'll always be there to protect you. So he comes and saves the children from his parents in a brutal way. It's all practical effects as far as the kills, like guts spilling. This is why I say Pee-wee's Playhouse. I mean, Mr. Crocket has characters from his show that are with him that are very dark and evil. Those pieces reminded me of the Banana Splits movie, which, watch something like the Banana Splits movie with this. I think that would make a fun double feature of like kid show horror movies. That would be a blast. It's an idea right there, people. Idea right there. Banana Splits with Mr. Crocket. Anyway, you have Mr. Crocket. He's kind of like almost a Mr. Rogers-esque character. And it kind of has that show like that, or Captain Kangaroo, any of those old kid shows you would have seen. And like I said, when he gets, parents, something happens, he comes out, but then after he either kills the parents or something happens to the parents, he takes the children back with them to his Mr. Crocket world, as we will call it. And the more that you dive into this movie, the deeper you get, the darker it is, and you find out more reasons of the backstory of Mr. Crocket, what happened, other people who have children missing, so they're trying to figure out what's going on. And then there is a little twist with the character at the end, or towards the end, I should say, as they end up in Mr. Crocket's world, which that gave me almost the Nightmare on Elm Street vibe. You go to Mr. Crockett's world, and it feels like when you go to, Freddy's space when you're in the dream space, where it's darker, it's dirtier, it's grimier, and you just know some shit's going to go down. But like I said, this movie was just fun. I found myself just hooked in, enjoying this movie from beginning to end. Elvis Nolasco, who plays Mr. Crocket, just has this creepiness to him. He's overly happy, obviously, because he's a kids host. He's always going to be happy. He wants to be that like nice guy for the kids to really like get him to like him and be hooked with Mr. Crocket. He's also very sinister. Like, his face can change on a dime and seem just evil and sinister and dark. In all honesty, I would love to see more in the Mr. Crocket world. Like, give me more of these Mr. Crocket movies. Whether it's in another town, later on, somebody finds a tape and puts in the Mr. Crocket tape and he comes back somehow, to kind of see more of this kind of happen. There are many influences, I guess you could say, in this film. I've mentioned it before, It, Nightmare on Elm Street, Candyman, Pee-wee's Playhouse, so many. But the way they're kind of mixed together and thrown into this dark, evil story, I liked it. I really did like this film. Would recommend checking out Mr. Crocket on Hulu. It's worth your watch this Halloween season. A nice movie. Just grab some friends, put on Mr. Crocket, and just have yourself a good time. Well, that will do it for my thoughts on Mr. Crocket. On my way out, besides Mr. Crocket, which you can watch at home on Hulu, give you something else that you can also watch right now. If you follow me over on social media, whether it's at ToBeTuesday on Twitter/X or Threads at Old Man Brad, I post each day. I'm in the middle of doing 31 days of terror on Tubi. So every day I put out either a theme, actor, or just flat out a movie to watch that day. So I'm doing 31 straight days of this, having a good time with it. There's been a few good ones, a few okay ones. And one of the days we did, watch whatever VHS movies, because VHS Beyond just came out on Shudder. I had only ever seen the very first VHS film, and I didn't totally care for it. So I never moved on through any of the sequels to watch any of these. So I thought, you know what? We just made a VHS day and said, watch a VHS film. One of the VHS films that's on Tubi. I think that they're the first one, the second one, and one other one. I forgot the name of it. Viral, I think it is called. That day I watched VHS 2 because, like I said, I'd only seen the first one. So I decided to watch the second and I really enjoyed it. And it sparked my interest to kind of go through the series a little bit more, which that's what I will do. I'll watch the next one that's on Tubi, and then I'll jump over to Shudder because they have the other films, the two 90s ones, 85, and then Beyond, their newest one. So through the rest of the month, I plan on watching through that entire series. But Tubi has the first three. If you don't have any of the other streamers and if you want to watch the VHS films, jump on Tubi and watch those first three. So those will be my suggestions for this week. Besides Mr. Crocket, go watch that. And follow me over on either TikTok, Old Man Brad Pod, or Instagram, just Old Man Brad. And I have other short reviews coming out because I'm getting ready to kick off doing remote coverage for Screamfest. I have a few films that I will be watching this week, and I'll be throwing quick reviews up there, as well as another movie that comes out this week on Shudder called Daddy's Head. I will have a quick review over there, so follow me over there so you don't miss any of those quick reviews. But then keep it right here, subscribe to the show, and you will never miss any chapter of Old Man Brad. Later this week, watch for the second Fiery October of Horror Tales from Tubi, coming out with my friends, the Cinema Psychos, where we talk Don't Go in the House from 1979. It was a wild movie. We had a great discussion. But make sure you subscribe and you won't miss it. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.